The sonar screen flickers, and beneath a skin of shifting blue, geometry appears. Straight lines, right angles, shadows, where nature rarely draws symmetry. For a moment, the ocean gives up a secret. At the end of the last ice age, sea levels were far lower than today by more than 100 meters. Coastlines stretched outward, river valleys cut deep across plains that are now drowned. When the climate warmed and glaciers melted, the sea advanced slowly but relentlessly, swallowing shorelines where some of the earliest human communities once stood. Off the coast of India, in the Gulf of Khambhat, sonar surveys in the early 2000s detected rectilinear patterns on the seabed. Artifacts were later recovered, including worked stone and possible tools. The precise age and context remain debated among researchers, yet the site sharpened a wider realization. Large tracts of prehistoric settlement may now lie underwater, beyond the reach of traditional archaeology. In the Mediterranean, the story is less disputed. Near the Israeli coast, the submerged village of Atlit Yam rests about 10 meters below the surface. It dates to roughly 9,000 years ago in the Neolithic period. Divers found stone houses, hearths, a well, and even human burials. At the center stands a semicircle of large stones surrounding a freshwater spring. The arrangement suggests ritual or communal purpose. These were not transient camps. They were structured communities with architecture, planning, and shared belief. Further east, near Japan's Yonaguni Island, massive stone formations rise from the seafloor. Discovered in the 1980s, they resemble terraces and stair-like features. Some geologists argue they are natural sandstone formations shaped by tectonics and erosion. Others suggest at least partial human modification. The debate itself underscores a deeper tension. How do we distinguish deliberate design from geological coincidence when time and water have blurred the evidence? The Black Sea offers a different chapter. Geological studies indicate that around 7,600 years ago, rising Mediterranean waters may have poured into what was then a lower freshwater basin, rapidly expanding the shoreline. Whether sudden or gradual, the transformation would have displaced communities along its margins. Marine expeditions have since located submerged ancient coastlines and, in some cases, well-preserved wooden structures in oxygen-poor depths, where decay slows dramatically. What these sites share is not a single lost civilization, but a pattern. Early humans gravitated toward coasts and river mouths. These were places of abundance: fish, fertile soil, trade routes. As sea levels rose over millennia, settlements were abandoned or overtaken. Stone walls endured, timber frames dissolved, sand settled, memory receded. Underwater archaeology moves slowly. Divers map grids by hand. Remotely operated vehicles trace outlines in silt. Every artifact must be lifted with care, stabilized against decay the moment it meets air. There is no dramatic unveiling, only patient reconstruction. A post hole suggests a roof. A cluster of seeds hints at agriculture. A well implies organized labor and knowledge of groundwater. Piece by piece, drowned landscapes regain dimension. The engineering is often modest by modern standards, yet sophisticated in context. Wells lined with stone to prevent collapse. Houses oriented to prevailing winds. Megalithic arrangements aligned with freshwater sources. These choices reflect communities experimenting, adapting, and transmitting knowledge across generations. The ocean, often imagined as a destroyer, can also be a preserver. In certain conditions, it seals sites in layers of sediment, protecting them from looting and weather. What was lost to sight was not always lost to time. There is a quiet implication in all this. The narrative of civilization does not begin only in river valleys we can still walk through. It extends into territories now inaccessible, without tanks of compressed air and robotic lenses. Entire chapters may rest beneath continental shelves where ancient shorelines once bustled with life. When we look at a calm horizon today, it is easy to imagine permanence. Yet, the boundary between land and sea has always been negotiable. The drowned settlements remind us that geography shifts, and with it, the stage on which human ingenuity unfolds. The sonar screen goes dark. The vessel turns back toward port. Below, in cold and silence, foundations remain where families once gathered around fires. The sea keeps their outlines, not as myths, but as coordinates, waiting for those willing to listen for the faint architecture of memory beneath the waves.